I know it's jarring. After that intro, I had a beard. Now it's just this mustache. You get used to it though. I've gotten used to it. Oh, bit of a different intro to this weekly wander. We're not wandering right now, we're in my room. Switching it up after last week's non-episode. It's gonna be better this time. Let's try what we're up to though. What up? We're in my room. It is 5:14 a.m. It's not though. That is 4 hours and 6 minutes off. It's actually just after 9. It's like 9:20. I already did yoga. And now we're just not taking a nap and getting ready to start our day. Go this artwork I've been doing. This is my last piece. My second piece. This was not my first one. This was what Sarah did. I painted that right there. But been an interesting week so far. We yesterday had our online orientation at UPS, and now I've got to, these are all policies that I've got to sign and bring in for whenever they have my first day. There's like 50 pages of policies to go through, but the good thing is we're now getting money. Hey, there we go. We're getting money, so this is more sustainable now. So I actually have to do it. But today's weekly wander, it's supposed to be a nice, great afternoon. One of the last few ones in October. We're gonna head out and explore the Grand River. You already saw the new intro I was working on earlier this week. I think it's a little too long. It's like 45 seconds, which is too much for an intro, but you get to see the whole thing in full this time. And then the next episodes we'll cut it down and add some new footage, I think. Work with it, play with the editing. I'm having fun editing it, so should start coming to fruition. I also had an idea for a sketch that I wanted to try and record some of it today as well. I think I'll have all the filming done hopefully by next week, and I can post it like next Thursday or something. So look out for that on the channel. And other than that, podcast coming out as usual. But this is how my day starts. Yoga's done. And then I just kind of decide what I got to do next, and usually it ends up being nothing. So today we changed that and we filmed this, and now we'll get dressed and start. We'll probably work on filming the sketch, and then later this afternoon when it heats up a little bit better, we'll head to the Grand River, do some exploring. So we'll see you there. Just in case you were like worried about the beard, I know it's like a staple of me and like of this channel, and I didn't want, we had a little spat. Had to change things up. I look like a zombie. So pale. It's a very blonde mustache too, but the beard it's right here. Don't worry. I got it. Like, when we were done with our like little lovers quarrel, bag on the face, you can let me know. So, I look ill. I just saw that. Jesus. Ugh. Well, I'll look a little cleaner on the walk. See you there. Oh, I gotta remember where the camera is. There, we're in Delilah. I'm cleaned up. Still got that 2-day shadow, but less zombie-like. Right now, we are headed to Snyder's Flats, where we're almost getting to. I mean, you already know. It was in the title of the video. We're checking out the Grand River today. The Grand River, which I got some info for you, which will be good, which will improve the less talkiness of these episodes and be more informative for you. So hopefully people stick around more than like the 30 seconds they usually stick around. So looking forward to that. We'll see you at the Grand River. I don't know what the point of this video was. Just to tell you that this is how I got there. I drove there. Just in full transparency, I have a car. You didn't know. What am I doing here? We made it to our destination. And we are at the Snyder's Flats. Not here just for the flats though. We are primarily here for the Grand River. That is our topic for today's weekly wander. Another gorgeous day. I know I always talk about the weather. It's kind of my kryptonite. Whenever I was at work and had to make small talk, or I'm with anyone having to make small talk, every time it always come down to, I'm like in my head, don't say the weather, don't talk about the weather, don't talk about the weather. Because that's this is my go-to topic when I don't know what to talk about. And every single time I'm like, don't talk about the weather, don't talk about the weather. Hey, did you guys get rain last night? Didn't rain where I was, but did you guys get any rain? Did you guys have different weather than I had? And they didn't. And I'm like, well, I've just blown that entire topic. Or it's currently raining. I'm like, hey, if you didn't notice, it's raining out. So that's all the weather we're talking about today. The most of today is actually going to be an informative video. Once we get to the river, I'll hit you with some facts, hit you with some knowledge, hit you with some personality, and hopefully it's cool. And hopefully the windscreen's working once again. But this part of the walk isn't actually that exciting. So we're going to cut to the river when stuff is actually going to start happening. This is the Grand River. This is the largest river in southwestern Ontario. It starts in Wareham, Ontario, and then it flows through Fergus, Elora, the Tri-Cities, Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo, through Brantford, a lot of other cities on the way, until it reaches the north shore of Lake Erie. The most well-known part of it is probably the Elora Gorge in Elora. Already have to correct myself. It's the largest river in the southern Ontario borders. And the reason for that is it's actually closer to Lake Huron and Georgian Bay, Lake Huron being to the west of it and Georgian Bay to the north. So normally most rivers will flow into the nearest Great Lake, but for some reason the Grand River decided to kind of bypass all that and flow straight south into Lake Erie rather than hop off at the nearest Great Lake, Lake Huron, which allows for it to have a lot more tributaries feeding into it and a lot more wetlands. It's the largest watershed in southern Ontario as well. It takes about 7,000 square kilometers. So the Woolwich Reservoir, which you saw me at last week, no, you didn't see me at last week, 2 weeks ago, most of you didn't watch it, which is fair enough. It wasn't a great video, but I mentioned that I thought that was the Grand River coming out of the dam. It's not. It is, however, a tributary, which you can see on this map, that flows right back into the Grand River. Hey wanderers, it's me, Aaron. So as I was walking back from that initial shot I got at the river, planning on going right back to my car, an older woman starts flagging me down on the trail and kind of like hushes me over to her. So I go up and talk to her and she starts whispering, "Hey, there's a guy over in the bush and he's lighting a fire." So I look and I can see and smell smoke now that I look at it. And there's this lean-to that's been put up that she said, she's here every day and she's never seen that before. So she thinks this guy's squatting there and starting his own fire. So for like 15 minutes, we're standing on this trail and I'm just trying to think, how do I get out of this situation? How do I just walk away and put this behind me? And I did end up getting away. She pulled out her phone after like 5 minutes and wrote a little message like, what should we do? Should we call the GRCA, which is the Grand River Conservation Authority? Which we decided was the right move. So we walked away from there so the guy wouldn't hear us on the phone. She called the GRCA and gave him all the information. We were expecting someone to be like, all right, we'll send someone over right away, make sure they don't burn down this entire forest. But they didn't do anything. They, maybe by now they've called her and investigated, but while we were there for the 2 hours, nothing happened. So after that call, she was going off to wander around the ponds, and I just ended up tagging along with her. I had no plans on it, but she showed me these really cool routes through all around all these ponds and just this beautiful scenic area that I would not have seen if I just decided to go straight back to my car. So it was definitely the right call, meeting up with Catherine. We had a nice conversation. She asked me where I'm from and what I'm doing here. I told her all about quitting my job to start making these videos and doing this YouTube thing, which she thought was very cool until she found out I have no experience doing this and I'm totally just doing it on a whim. And then she totally shifted into, sounding like my mom. Like, oh, well, your degree is still very useful. There's a lot of jobs you could do with that environmental science degree. You should keep your eyes peeled on the job postings all the time. Always be looking. My son, he looks for new jobs all the time. I'm so proud of him. He's always getting new jobs. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I understand the importance of having, a fancy job. But I'm not here for that. I'm here for the happiness, here for the joy. And I can say soundly that I'm way happier doing what I'm doing now, knowing now that I have a job lined up, that I'm going to have some money coming in. I'm going to be living stress-free for a while. And I think as the more I do this, the better it's going to get. This episode, I kind of tried to change it up, and I wanted to give you guys some information, some facts about where I'm going, to kind of mix this up from the podcast and also include a little more life footage. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that and found it a little better than just me trying to figure out topics as I'm walking. Let me know in the comments. I know this execution wasn't perfect. It was a pretty monotone delivery and a dry, trying to remember my facts, essentially. I had them written on my phone and I couldn't look at them as I'm filming. So I had to keep flipping back and forth and trying to remember them. But I think in the future we can get better at it, get some better delivery and maybe plan things out a little bit better. This was totally unexpected. I thought I was just going to go read some facts and then get back to it. But anyways, you'll get back to me reading a few more facts and giving you some information. So I hope you enjoyed. It was a pleasure talking to you, and enjoy the rest of the video. Take it away, Aaron.
So this wasn't always called the Grand River. Names don't always stick. Initially there was the Mohawk name here that I'm not going to try to pronounce. I don't even know how to do it. But that meant the Willow River, due to all the willow trees on either side of the river going up. And then in the 18th century, French colonists named it the Grand Riviere. The Grand Riviere. So the gimbal died. Now you're just stuck with this shaky camera, me holding the footage, and not to cover the mic or my, God, there we go. So, as I was saying, French colonists in the 18th century came along, named it the Grand Riviere, which I'm sure you can translate that to English being the Grand River. After that though, John Graves Simcoe, I hope that's his name, future Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, John Graves Simcoe tried to popularize the river name as the River Ouse, again, future Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong. The River Ouse due to a river by his hometown in England. He tried to transfer that name over to this one. Didn't catch on though. Everyone was already sticking onto the Grand Riviere. Now, but even before John Graves Simcoe though, this land in the 16th and 17th century was owned by, I don't think they considered it owning. It was inhabited by the Attawandaron tribe. They were known as the Neutral Nation by European settlers. This was due to the fact that they didn't want to pair up with the French or the English settlers. They just kind of did their own thing, didn't pay attention to anybody else. But they ended up getting wiped out by the Iroquois in the 17th century. The Iroquois were trying to dominate the fur trade and wanted to eliminate all competition so they would have all the trading rights with the Europeans. The same Iroquois attacks that attacked the Jesuit community in Ste. Marie among the Hurons, if you've heard of it, up in Penetangregine. So after the attacks, the Neutral Nation, or Attawandaron, ended up moving to La Prairie, which was a Catholic mission just south of Montreal, where a lot of their lineage can still be traced. Other parts of the Neutral Nation has been traced to Ohio as well as Oklahoma in migration events before, those states became popularized and with issues coming up during the American Revolution. And was that all in the sun? Did I just film? Oh. The double chin in mustache isn't a good look. I gotta hold it up high. But those are my facts for you. If you guys enjoyed this is more like a Tom Scott video. I'm just stealing other people's ideas to try and do my own thing. But I didn't want this weekly wander thing to be too much like the podcast where I always just talk to myself. I did that little thing in the beginning, which I think was important, a nice little intro. You can see how my day starts. But for the most part, I think maybe I should make these weekly wanders about where I am. And I'm checking out some cool places all around Waterloo, maybe around where you guys are living, or curious. If you're curious of this area I'm in, so let me know what you think in the comments of these revamped weekly wanders. I think this is going to serve as the outro of the video, so I hope you enjoyed. Enjoy some singing as the credits roll, and we'll see ya wandering about next time. I said a hip hop, a hippie to the hip hip hop. You don't stop, I drop into the bang bang boogie, up drop the boogie to the rhythm and the boogie the beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. Me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. You see, I am Wonder Mike, and I'd like to say hello to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first, I gotta bang bang the boogie to the boogie, so up drop the boogie to the bang bang boogie. Let's rock. Yeah, don't stop, rock the rhythm now, make your body rock.